Just ahead on CTV News, the city of Bowie selects a new police chief, plus a fond farewell to a longtime county employee, and some festive ideas for your holiday guest. All that and more coming up next on CTV News.
Good evening, I'm Patricia Vallone with a CTV News update. Well, we all love the smell and look of a real Christmas tree, but did you know nationwide those festive trees are the cause of house fires every year? According to a report from the National Fire Protection Association, from 2016 to 2020, fire departments responded to about 160 house fires a year due to live Christmas trees going up in flames. The report also indicates that most Christmas tree fires occur between 3 p.m. and midnight. With the holiday just 3 days away, the Prince George's Fire Department wants to remind residents to keep their real trees watered daily.
Again, make sure you keep it wet. Once those trees begin to dry, that creosote begins to dry, those trees become very flammable. So the drier they get, the longer you have them, the more of a fire risk they are.
And Clark also recommends that residents dispose of their real Christmas trees 5 to 7 days after the holiday season ends. Well, the city of Bowie is celebrating the Prince George's school system's decision to keep Pointer Ridge Elementary open for the next academic year. PGCTV has proposed operating an autism program at the school that's expected to increase enrollment by 80 to 85%. The decision also allows Pointer Ridge to remain open for students in Bowie who use it as a neighborhood school. Superintendent Millard House will present the recommendation to the school board during its January 11th meeting. The board must approve the proposal to move forward. And the city of Bowie appoints its next chief of police. Current acting police chief Dwayne Preston will be formally sworn into office at the January 2nd city council meeting. Preston began his law enforcement career with the Prince George's Police Department in 1990. He served 21 years as the Bureau of Administration's deputy chief before retiring from the agency in December 2011. The following month, he joined the Bowie Police Force, eventually serving on the Police Reform Task Force before being promoted to acting chief this past September. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. After the break, saying goodbye to Paulette Jones. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
As a mom, I want my kids' lives to be filled with joy and possibility, and I want that for every kid. That's why I support No Kid Hungry. They work in schools and communities to make sure every kid gets the healthy meals they need. Please join me in supporting No Kid Hungry for all kids.
Thank you!
Welcome back. Well, this just into the newsroom. Prince George's police are investigating after a student at Dr. Henry Wise High School brought a loaded gun onto school property. It happened this morning around 9:30, and that's when the police department was notified that the school's security personnel recovered the gun from the student. The suspect is a 17-year-old male. He faces charges of handgun possession, having a dangerous weapon on school property, and additional charges. Well, for a decade, Paulette Jones has been the face of the Department of Public Works and Transportation, but Jones has decided to retire. Byron Scott has a story.
Whether it was snow preps,
and so we just want to make sure that our roadways are in good shape.
Pedestrian safety,
be mindful of our bikers and our walkers.
The county's litter and mowing blitz.
We're also asking our residents to please not to litter.
Or the Stuff a Bus campaign.
Folks can come by, drop off supplies here at the bus.
Paulette Jones of the Department of Public Works and Transportation was on the case.
Responsibilities included going out to community meetings, helping our community partners with some of their PGC 311 concerns.
Community partners like Novella Jackson, who lives in the Oxon Hill area.
She has some sidewalk concerns, and so they just asked me to walk the community with them, which I did. And at the time, I had on high-heel shoes, and one of my heels was broken on the sidewalk, and I said, oh, I truly understand, your concerns here, and we were able to bring crews in and redo the sidewalks in that community.
For many years, Jones has worked for various state agencies, including the MTA as a program manager, the SHA in government relations. But it wasn't until she became the chief of communications with the DPW&T that she took to the airwaves.
We continue to work around the clock, 12-hour shifts. Well, what I always say is that I never had one single day that was the same. Every day was different because there were different concerns, every day that I came in. And so it's just been extremely rewarding and very exciting. Again, this is the proclamation that she provided.
She is County Executive Angela Alsobrooks, and this is the proclamation presented to Jones declaring December 1st, 2023, Paulette Jones Day.
I love to garden.
She's a lady of varied interests.
One thing you never really knew is that I make all of my clothes, and so hope to get back into my fashion and my jewelry.
For 5 years, she was the political director for the late Congressman Elijah Cummings.
My primary role was helping him to raise money during his political campaign, but also again working with the diverse constituency that he had.
As for what's next, she says,
I'm a practicing Buddhist, and so I plan to help mentor some youth.
She also plans to spend more time with her family, including her 5-year-old American Bulldog, Romeo.
I think he'll appreciate me being around a little more.
With Paulette Jones,
I just feel like the universe has something still planned for me. I'm not completely done. I just know that it's time for something new.
Byron Scott, CTV News.
And Jones retires effective January 1st. Well, the creatures, which belong to the spider family, have little to do with crustaceans despite their name. Horseshoe crabs have existed along the Atlantic coastline for millions of years, but over the last 60 years, their blood has been a lifeline to many humans. Now some are saying that the biomedical industry that collects their blood has had little accountability. Most of us think of the color red when we see blood, but some animals, such as squid and horseshoe crabs, actually have blue blood.
The blood is blue because it's got a different oxygen receptor than we do. We use hemoglobin as an oxygen transport molecule. They use pyocyanin, and it is based on copper.
Turns out this blue blood has been a lifeline for tests used to detect toxins in drugs and biological products. Those toxins can cause inflammatory responses and sometimes death during injections, something that used to be quite common. But the FDA now mandates a particular test known as LAL to prevent even minute amounts of toxins in products. Those tests, which check for contamination, are dependent upon the blue blood of horseshoe crabs.
It's just like you going to the Red Cross and donating blood.
Bergeson says the industry collects the horseshoe crabs and drains the sinus cavity, about 3 tablespoons from each crab.
And the rest of the blood is still within the tissues of the animal, and that when we're done bleeding, when we're done collecting the blood is replenished from the outside of that sinus, as well as when you return it to the sea, the seawater will help replenish blood volume.
Some estimates have the value of this blue blood at $60,000 a gallon. But Bergenson strongly disputes that number, saying even the finished product isn't worth that. He says the value is in the lives that have been saved.
So that could be the new vaccine for COVID-19. That could be new biomaterials used in artificial hips and joints and things like that, or stents. It could be a new antibiotics.
While the majority survived the bleeding process, it has had an effect on the horseshoe crab population, a population that dates back to before the age of dinosaurs.
For the bleeding component, we estimate that 15% of the crabs that are released after they are bled die due to impacts of the bleeding. This estimate comes from a variety of different studies in the published literature.
But the USGS says the long-term effect of the bleeding process on animal survival and spawning is unknown. Some scientific evidence shows that the crabs mate less after being bled, which could spell trouble for their long-term survival. And a synthetic alternative has been approved in Europe as an equivalent to the ingredient that requires the blue blood of horseshoe crabs. But the process of approving the alternative in the U.S. has stalled. Meanwhile, the horseshoe crab population decreases. At least one migratory shorebird species that depends on the eggs is now threatened. About 94% of red knots have disappeared over the last 40 years. Well, if you are looking to impress your guests as they arrive for the holidays, how about preparing a festive holiday bar full of signature treats? CTV's Oni Chukwu is in the kitchen with some great holiday ideas.
So it's holiday season, and who doesn't like to build a nice cookie station? So whether you're decorating cookies, if you have little ones, get them involved in creating a whole festive cookie station. Or guess what? Your local grocery store, they also have festive cookies pre-made for you. Don't tell anybody I shared that tip with you. But get a tray and line your cookies up just like this, and it makes it festive for them to be able to choose. Or if you are a movie lover like me and you love Hallmark Channel, or you love all the holiday movies, get you some popcorn, get you a nice festive tin, and you can kind of build your own little popcorn cup and be sure to watch your favorite holiday movie. But for my people who love to sit down at the table, I also like to sit down and have Christmas dinner. We have a nice traditional setup here for you where it's festive, it's in the holidays. Get you a nice runner, lay it down, plates and everything, and you can just have a nice Christmas dinner or a Christmas brunch. And if you like to kind of go from house hopping from house to house to kind of get it going, you can also take some of your cookies, put them inside a tin like this, says Merry Christmas, and you can put the top on and also share Christmas cookies with your friends, your neighbors, and make sure wherever you're going for the holidays, always spread some cheer, bring a gift, and I love blooming, so you always can even do a nice festive cup, put some blooms inside, and spread a little bit of holiday cheer this season.
Okay, everybody, we begin your Friday sports page with some high school basketball news. The Largo High School boys basketball team is playing very well to start the season as they are currently 6-1. They seem to be picking right back up where they left off last season, going 21-7 and making it all the way to the state championship game. CTV Sports caught up with head coach Rodney Ward, and he believes the energy and team camaraderie his squad shows has played a big part in their hot start.
Just the energy, playing together, getting to know each other. We got 5 returners from last year, and we're getting a few new guys acclimated to what we're doing. So they're listening, they're focusing, the mistakes are there, but we are getting better.
The Lions will take the court next versus Hayfield on December 28th. Moving on to college football, the Terps will have a new quarterback under center in their bowl game against Auburn. Their previous quarterback, Talia Tagovailoa, has opted not to play, leaving Billy Edwards Jr. the opportunity to shine in the big game. Edwards hasn't had a lot of playing time since he's been in College Park, and he's looking forward to putting his talent on display.
Just my abilities. I think, I'm confident in my ability to run the ball, throw the ball, whatever the defense allows us to do. So just, to showcase the complete game that I have, that I feel like I have in my arsenal, and, I'm excited for that opportunity to do so.
The Terps and Tigers take the field on December 30th. And that is your Friday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. And now let's get a quick check on our Christmas weather forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 32. Saturday, cloudy with a high of 49. Christmas Eve, partly sunny. Temps will reach 53 during the day. And Christmas Day, partly sunny and warmer with a high of 55. And that wraps up our CTV News Update. I'm Patricia Vallone. Be sure to catch our Year in Review show all next week. Have a happy holiday.